Hello world, my name is Ihor, and this is another episode of Beats from Scratch. And today we're gonna make a techno track on the Electron Digitakt, and we're gonna use only samples from Loopop Mega Contest Sample Pack. And this video is gonna be my entry into this context, basically. So Loopop went to the Superbooth 2021 and he recorded quite a lot of different samples from the drum machines and synthesizers that were not released yet. And he created a sample pack and there is a contest going on. So if you're interested, I'm gonna put a link in the description down below. And in today's video, in the first part, I'm gonna create a track from scratch and I'm gonna explain all my thought process and why did I make certain choices. In the second part, we're gonna take time to arrange the track on the Digitakt. And in the last part of the video, I'm gonna play the track back. So without further ado, let's do it. I hope you enjoy it. Let's start with setting a couple of things up. First of all, tempo 132, and then scale mode per track and change length to 64 so that our patterns change after 64 steps or 4 bars, and master length into the infinite. And another setting which I usually use is audio routing and send into effects, and I exclude kick drum and tom from being sent into effects. This allows me to use the track all function and send everything into reverb or delay, but keep the kick drum and sub bass not affected. And I'm also planning to put the link into the description down below to download this project so that you can play with it as well. Let's go and find our kick drum. So first track, sample, and I already know that I'm gonna use this one from Zaps. It's quite a long one, let's make it shorter. Overdrive it like this. And then let's go into the LFO, select the amp overdrive and overdrives the transients of this kick drum. So it's gonna be in one mode, basically as an envelope. And let's introduce some depth. It's still quite long. Maybe we can use it like this. This is perfect. Nice. The second thing I would like to do is the bass line. Let's go into the track 5 and find our bass line. There was one particular sample I was interested in, and I think it comes from Waldorf M synthesizer. Yes, this one. So it's kind of a plucky bass line. Quite long sample, which makes it really good material to work with. But we are interested in this beginning with transients. Let's overdrive it. Send it to reverb. And let's go and make reverb longer with a little pre-delay and a little darker. And then let's also go into delay, make it white, a little darker as well, and send it into reverb. And then let's send this into delay. Yeah, that can be used for performance. And then let's do the filter with an envelope so that we can use it as a performance tool. But we can start like this. Perfect. And let's lay down our sequence. I'm gonna start with something simple. Maybe this trigger, we can go one semitone up. And maybe we can clear a little bit of low end from it. So the first trig, I put a little bit of delay on it, so it kind of creates a little kind of chorus effect for a couple of next trigs. Nice. Let's go into this filter and close the envelope a little bit. Let's go back into the kick drum and overdrive it a little less. Yes. Nice. Next thing, let's add the open hat, maybe from the 6 mode 6. Yeah, add this one and maybe again make it shorter, just a simple hi-hat like this. maybe a little darker. A little to the right. Yes, so the first trig, again, I'm adding delay to the first one. It creates this kind of syncopation. Nice. Nice. And let's maybe add some kind of a tom sound. So we have our rumble. I think it was from Buchla 258T, I think. Yeah, those. So yes, this one. Let's put it like just like this and listen. Yes, and then what we can do, we can play with a filter. Basically, we can record and then play with the filter a little bit. Yeah, let's mute the whole thing. Yeah, something like that will work. Let's overdrive it a little bit and make it quieter. Maybe with another filter we can filter out more high-end. And on this filter, what we can do on the first one, add a little bit of resonance. Yeah. With the hi-hats. Nice. All right, I like it. Let's add our clap. So we can go into samples again and try to find the clap. Yeah, maybe we can use this one, but make it again super short for our clap, like this, and maybe a little darker. We can figure it out. Yeah, like this, overdrive. Nice. Maybe a little quieter. What if we send it into reverb? Just a little bit so that it creates kind of a texture. Yeah. Like this. But this one is gonna happen on the condition, on the fill. Like this. Yeah. What about the hi-hat? I think we can go a little darker. Yes. Maybe a touch louder. All right. And let's go and try to find our closed hat. So, and there was something from 6mod6, I guess. That was, yeah. Yeah, this one, quite short. And on this track, I'd like to enable 12 steps and put triggers something like this. Yes. And let's pan it around a little bit so that we can have some kind of stereo field. LFO goes to panning, random, sample and hold. So the closed hat kind of bounces a little bit in the stereo field. What if we go a touch darker? Maybe last one can be a little longer. And let's also play with the velocities of these guys. Just change them a little bit. Yes. And let's go into our last track, which is a cymbal. And here I don't usually use cymbals, but I would like to use some other tonal content. And from Buchla and Tip Top, the new oscillator, there is a lot of interesting samples like this. Let's use this one. Yeah, like this. And then the first one can be one semitone higher. And then we can send these guys into reverb. Lower the velocities. The second one a little higher. Let's save the pattern. Overdrive them a little bit. Make it shorter. And then again, let's lower the velocity. Send into delay. Nice. I was making all these changes with parameter locks. Particularly for these two tricks, I made all these changes, but then for others, I can make other changes. But for this, we have to go and lock the sample as well for the parameter lock over here. And then we can try to find another sound. So right now we have like untouched sound because everything was locked to these two trigger locks. Let's save the pattern to be safe. And let's try to find another sample. Yeah, this one. And I would like this one to be here. Maybe here. Yeah, like this. This one is fine. I don't want to pitch it down, but I would like to send it into reverb. Nice. And then also let's use an LFO to bounce these things around. So similarly that we did with the open hi-hat, but over here. And maybe we can bounce them a little bit more wide. Sample and hold. And then we can lock the sample over here as well. And then we can try to find another sample, maybe this low one, and shall we put it somewhere, maybe here? Yes. And let's work on this sample as well. So right now it bounces around. We can set the LFO not to affect this sample, for example, and it's going to be always in front. And then let's work a little bit on the sample itself. Maybe we can send it into reverb, as usually, and into delay, overdrive, lower the velocity. All right, that's really good. And we can go right now into the only track left, actually. So the snare track is my kind of percussion track, or anything that makes the track kind of interesting. And I would like to put a couple of tricks that's going to happen sometimes with some percussive sounds, so that track keeps evolving and keeps being interesting. So for this one, we're going to make a similar approach, find a sample, put it somewhere, fix it with the trig, and then try to find another sample for it. So let's go. Maybe this one can happen once in a while. Yeah. I actually like it so that it happens every time though. But no, let's go and set it conditionally. So it's gonna happen with 25% of chance. And let's try to find another sample again. And before we do that, we have to lock this sample for this to this trigger. The only thing I would like to do here before we go further is to remove all the low end so that I don't get biased by all the subby kind of kicks and stuff, because I usually end up adding a lot of kicks into the track. Maybe this one. This one, I really like the dirtiness of it, so let's see. Yeah, that will work. So let's go and lock this sample here. And let's try to find maybe some kind of a crash or something so that we can use it for example, if we come from the drop into the break, maybe we can use one shot, crash sound or something like that. So let's see if we can find something. And we immediately found this one, and we can place it over here, but send it significantly into reverb and delay. And that's going to happen on every first time the pattern plays, like this. Yeah, I like it. Maybe we can make it a little bit darker. No, that was too much. Yeah. And then we can lower the velocity because I think it's too loud. Sometimes it could be chopped by another trigger over here, but in arrangement mode, we're gonna change this. We can remove the unnecessary triggers over here. And let's go and find another sample for it. So this one we have to lock again. Perfect. And let's find something else. Maybe this one, but we can make it quite shorter, something like that. Yeah, like this, but make it short. Yeah. Yeah, like this. Let's lower the velocity. And then let's set the conditional tree. Maybe that's gonna happen on every second run of the bar. Yeah. And maybe we can find another one. Let's lock this sample as well. Maybe we can use this guy, and let's set it here. Nice. What if we go darker? Lower the velocity. Again, delay. Little reverb. And let's lock the sample as well. And this is gonna happen on the second iteration of the pattern or of the sequence. Nice. And I think that's pretty much it. And we can go into arrangement and mixing. So I'm gonna start with playing the whole thing. And then we can go into tracks, into the second filter, and remove some low end from clap. We don't have to have all the subby end going. Bassline we did already. Hi-hats as well. So we do not interfere with the kick drum and sub. Let's mute the whole thing and then keep the kick drum and sub end or rumble going. And here I would like to utilize the limiter. So I'm gonna go into compressor, no threshold, fast attack, fast release, no makeup gain, full ratio, no sidechain filter, and then fully mix. This is sort of like limiter settings, and then we can lower the threshold to limit the kick drum a little bit. So as you can see, that's why I like Digitakt's compressor, because it shows us that there is gain reduction going on. And that means that we do not limit the low end, which comes from this track, but we kind of limiting only the kick drum, which makes the kick drum to be kind of the loudest thing in the mix. And then we can add other parts. And see if there is a little bit something going on, but I think it's fine. So yeah, I think that's pretty much for the mixing part of things, and let's go into the arrangement mode. So we have our pattern, which contains all the things together. So we can copy this pattern, and I'm gonna go and paste it into the pattern 9 so that we have kind of a backup copy. And let's create the first intro pattern. So we can go into the mute modes, pattern mute modes, what color is that? Pink or purple pattern mutes, which are purple. You can access it by clicking debunk twice with function. And we can mute basically everything but bass and kick drum. And I will go into the bass line and close the filter a little bit. So we're gonna start like this. And then the kick drum, I'd like to utilize the high pass filter and start like this with high pass filter, and then we can, evolve with this filter. Yeah, like this. And after this, we can copy this one into the second pattern and paste here. In the second pattern, I'm gonna remove the filter completely from the kick drum as it was before. And then add the low end and hi-hats. And the bass line is gonna be a little bit more open. And then in the second pattern, we can start adding like hi-hats and stuff like that. And then the third pattern is gonna be our drop. So I can copy the whole thing into this one, paste here. So in the second track, we have our, one shots and stuff like that. So we can remove those and keep only the first one, so that whenever we switch to this pattern, it's gonna do this crash for us like this. Yeah, perfect. Then we can mute some other parts of it. So clap, I don't need the clap yet. And then I don't need these guys yet, because these guys are gonna come into the break. And I don't need this hi-hat. So this is gonna be our drop. And the bass line is gonna be even more widely opened. Nice. And then we can go into this pattern again, copy the original one and paste it over here. That's gonna be our breakdown. So we can mute the kick drum and the sub end. And then I can go into this track number 2 and also give us this kind of crash sound into the break. And then we can slowly introduce these guys with the filter, actually. We can open up the filter. Yeah, this guy. And we can also mute, I think, the bass line, or we can fade the bass line out and fade these tonal samples in. And we're not gonna have clap either. So it's gonna be, this is gonna be our breakdown. Yeah, and then we introduce these guys. And then we go into another pattern. We can go into track 2 and remove the first shot trig because we don't need it. Or you know what? We can do the opposite actually. We can go into our breakdown, and I'm gonna copy this trig. And I'm gonna remove it from our breakdown, but I'm gonna bring it up back when we play our drop again. So like this. And we have all the percussions in place and stuff. Or maybe we can remove some percussion. And then we can go into the next one, which is going to be our full pattern. And I'm going to paste into the 7th and 8th. Last 3 patterns, they have the whole thing going on, and we can get creative. So we're going to evolve over these patterns up until the 6th one, and then we can basically, do some improvisation and finish the track. Let's play it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I also hope you liked this track. And I really hope that you learned something new for you, or that my jams inspire you to go and create music. I'll see you guys next week. And until then, have fun.
Bye.